Pat is in New Jersey. Pat, how you doing?
Hey, listen, I'm one of those guys. I'm voting for President Biden just to keep Trump out of the White House. That is my number one goal. I have talked to many friends and acquaintances in the last week. Listen, Joe's debate performance wasn't great. He's not my first choice, but being these are the choices that I have, there's no way, there is nothing that could happen that could get me to not vote for the Democratic ticket this coming November.
Do you think the biggest problem with Joe Biden's debate performance was his makeup or the lighting?
I don't think it was either. I think he had a bad night, and I think Trump lies, and nobody calls him out on it. And hey, those are the rules that are set up right now, and I just have to live with that. So.
Okay, so I just want to make sure we're on the same page. So, by bad night, do you mean if they had the debate again today, he would be like Johnny on the spot, knocking out figures, boom, 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 boom. He'd be like totally on.
He had a better command of the facts than Trump did the other night. I think his.
No, that's not the question. Whoa, Pat. Happy to take this call. Happy to have this conversation. Love it. Very grateful for you calling in. Ask the question. Answer the question. If he had a debate today, do you think Biden would be on it, with it, Johnny on the spot, like he, like in the old days, like 10 years ago when you see the Joe Biden?
I would hope that he would be better. Yeah.
Better.
Yeah, I don't have any question about his astuteness or his command of the facts, and I prefer the people around him better than the people around Trump. So it's a very simple equation for me.
Yeah. What did Trump do to you that hurt you so badly or offended you so much that he's off the table?
Trump made me embarrassed to be an American.
That's a you problem, not a Trump problem. What did Trump do to hurt you?
That's my guideline. I don't.
Hold on. This is so interesting.
I don't like Trump and conservative economic priorities. I don't like their denial of people of the lifestyles that people choose to live. Listen, I believe that in this country you get to define who you are. I don't get to define you, and I'm fine with that. So I will continue to support people who want to define themselves however it is that they want.
I don't know what you're talking about. Are you talking about gay people? Are you talking about gay people right now?
Gay, trans. I'm talking about all of it. People get to define themselves. In my view.
Okay, Trump might be the most pro-gay president ever.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see it that way. He made me embarrassed to.
What is? Listen, trust me.
I'm ashamed.
Trust me. I want to go back to your embarrassment point because I find that very fascinating. But let's just put this one to bed. What has Trump done? Because this is the second point you brought up, so you must feel very strongly about this. It's the second thing you brought up. What has Trump done against gay people, gay marriage, gay anything?
Trump specifically, that could be. I think republicanism and conservatism in general is anathema to gay, trans, foreign-born people in this country, and I don't like it. I don't like the people around him. I don't like the ideals that conservatism stand for. And listen, in a way, if he should win, I'll be happy to go back to what we used to call the resistance. I know people in various levels of government who just slow walk things when they have to. I'm good with all that. That is the way that we can make him as unsuccessful as possible. And that's a good goal for me.
That's the point I want to make in a second. So thanks for the segue. But I got it. Just one more thing, because your opening line was he made you embarrassed to be an American. Correct. Whose outside opinion are you considering when you are feeling embarrassed?
World opinion.
What does that mean? It's a big world. There's 8 billion
you know
people.
What? I don't like that he's a guy that pushes his way through the G20 summit to be at the front of the picture. And I don't like any of it. Wow. There's nothing that I appreciate about it. Or the way that
but this is so fascinating. Are you thinking of a guy in Spain who looks at who is this made up caricature that you've created that looks down on Trump and therefore looks down on America and looks down on you, and like that affects you because some guy in the Netherlands doesn't like our president? Because they're not. So who's this person you're making up?
There's nobody I'm at. Let's just for call it the EU. I'm embarrassed by how the EU and the rest of the world views us when Trump is leading. Okay. And even now, listen, I'm sure there are things now that they don't like, and I'll have to live with that. But if I can keep him out of office, I will do everything I can.
Last point. When Donald Trump goes to the UN and says, hey, Germany, if you keep relying on your natural gas coming from Russia, that's going to be really bad for you. And when you keep eliminating your gas supply and your oil supply, this is going to be really bad and drive up oil prices. And then the camera cuts to the German delegation at the United Nations, and they're laughing at our president, at Orange Man up there. And then Trump, 2 years later, turns out to be 100% right. That embarrasses you.
Yes, we don't have any way. We have no right to tell the rest of the world how they should live.
Yet you think yet you're embarrassed by the rest of the world's thought about us.
Yes.
You see how that doesn't make sense, right?
No, but I get the vote. I get the vote just like you, Mike. So.
You sure do, Pat. You sure stinking do. Pat, I appreciate the call. Democracy. Thanks for the call, Pat. So let me use that. Hold on, let me see here. Yeah, let me use that as my segue here, and I'll make my full argument, and we'll open up the phones. I want to talk here about the French resistance that Pat was speaking to a moment ago, and I believe this is what will happen when Trump wins. And as I speak of this, try to get past in your brain the obvious cheating that will take place, right? Go with me on this adventure that it's such an insurmountable win, too big to rig, that they can't even cheat their way out of it because they're not even prepared to rig Minnesota and Virginia and New Jersey, right? Okay, so go with this, all right? Go with a Trump victory. I believe the left will lead a French resistance-style mass sabotage campaign. Let me explain. I got 3 points. First, let's think about what could happen instead if we lived in a sane world. Bill Ackman is a guy who's made some political waves recently. He's a billionaire hedge fund guy. He used to be a Democrat, and he got a lot of attention when all those pro-Hamas rallies were taking place on college campuses, particularly Columbia, which I believe is his alma mater, or at least he donated a ton of money to. And he said, I'm not going to give any more money to you, and that started this whole thing, right? So, and now he's like becoming a conservative. So he said, Donald Trump is going to win in a landslide. And here's what he said. The country should rally around Trump and help him succeed. Trump didn't expect to win the first time he was elected. As a result, he was totally unprepared. The lack of preparation, the Russia investigation, and the ensuing chaos interfered with his ability to execute. Now Trump knows he's going to win. So does everyone else. One of my biggest concerns was whether Trump could build a first-class team. The good news is that very capable people that I know are excited to work in the new Trump administration. Trump will be able to start recruiting top talent immediately. Trump will now have time to assemble a first-class team. He will be a much better president with the benefit of experience by surrounding himself with a better team and without the distractions that interfered with his presidency. The best thing we can do as citizens is to support our next president. We need to align the country around our nation's leader. We have grave global threats we need to deal with in challenging economic times fast approaching. The abortion issue has been critical for many Americans, and Trump's message tonight on abortion should be comforting to many of those voters. Trump made clear he would not challenge the abortion pill and would leave the issue to the states. He also said he would approve of abortion in the instance of rape, incest, risk to mother's life. Trump came across as strong and reasonable on important issues, did not respond to Biden's attacks. Let's bring the country together. Our divisiveness is killing us. And yes, someone needs to take the Democratic leadership behind the woodshed. All right, so that's Bill Ackman. That's not going to happen. Do you see any of the Democrats in the media, the talking head, the Democratic leadership, et cetera, Chuck Schumer, Pelosi, do you hear any of them saying, you know what, this is exhausting. Enough of this made up stuff. Let's just work with Trump. Maybe we can get some good stuff done. We can make we can make some good deals. Maybe he's not actually all that bad. You see that happening? No way. They've dug way too deep of a hole. They can't get out of it. Human nature is so powerful in this instance. It is impossible for someone to admit they're wrong. You just heard it with Pat a moment ago. It's almost impossible to admit you're wrong because we form opinion in tribes. You are in a tribe. When you have an opinion, you don't just have an opinion, you're a member of a tribe. And if you change your opinion, we fear that we'll be kicked out of the tribe. And if we get kicked out of the tribe, then we're going to be eaten by a saber-toothed tiger. You with me? So if you have an opinion, you're in a tribe. If you want to change your opinion because you realize you're wrong, it's not just changing your opinion. You feel like you're betraying your tribe, and you feel like you're going to lose your tribe, and that feels dangerous. So people do not change their opinions. Very, very difficult. And there's been so much buy-in on this point. There's been so much he's a monster. Not just I disagree with him on this policy or that policy. He's a monster. He's an evil Hitler monster. There's so much buy-in on that. There's no way someone can walk back from that and say, well, let's give him a chance.